No Standing 8 Boxing Podcast. We discuss every organization and weight class with your host, Bronx Bomber, educated with the craft. Punch a topic hard like heavyweights, hitting the bag from the top rank to the upcoming. Washed up to the dark horse, champs, #1 contenders. Quick jab or sharp cross, we your source. Come get it. Tuning in, you can have it. Internationally known, our information is valid. See, we on a higher plane, no 2 episodes the same. We get better as we train, so on top we remain. Come join the conversation, it's insight you'll gain. And then outside of the rain, we do the damn thing.
All right, fight fans, welcome to another edition of No Stand 8 Boxing Talk. And this is episode 2 of the relaunch with today's guest is very special, near dear to my heart, because he is essentially my boss in the boxing world. All right. If you follow boxing, as long as you've been following boxing, if you are a true fight fan, you know this face, you know the name, Michael Woods. He's been around, he's written for just about anybody. He's written for ESPN the magazine. He's vice president of Boxing Writers Association. He is the founder, the brains, the head of NeoFights.com. I'm probably missing a bunch of other things, and I'll let Mike talk about that as he goes along. But it is my pleasure, and I am humbled to have this man on my show. Mike, thanks for joining us today. He also goes by Woodsy, so we'll go with Woodsy.
All right. I might play that back to myself if I'm feeling low tomorrow.
No.
A week from now or a month from now. It's nice to hear someone say nice things about you, or just things that you've done.
That's right.
That are, you know, if you've done some good things, it's not as nice to hear when you're maybe recounting bad things I've done, which I've also done. But I don't know, got to write a book or something. Bro, thanks for having me. Appreciate the opportunity, which I do say is an opportunity because you're a good dude. You say I'm your boss in the space or whatever. It's a collaborative process. I appreciate being called boss. I really get a positive jolt from that, because what it indicates is that, you know, I'm kind of a small businessman who just fucking keeps it afloat, and you know, ain't making myself rich, ain't making nobody else rich, but you know, little here, little there. You know, NY Fights, what is it? It's a WBA interim title. No, you know what I'm saying. It is
exactly what you're saying.
In the sphere of things, but I'll try not to be long-winded, which will be hard for me.
No.
Because I'm a yapper. But I want to say thank you for having me. It's your show, so let me just sort of shut up and let you direct more. That's, you know, it's different being a host and being a guest sometimes.
Right.
So let me just shut up and say thank you for allowing me to be a guest on your show on this relaunch. I will say I like the space there. I know you to a degree over a space of a couple of years. I know you as a consummate pro, as a very hardworking person, as an earnest person, ambitious, thoughtful, try to be kind, try to be a good frickin' person in the world. So that's why I say I skip around a little bit. ADHD, motherfucker. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, because, and this will be my last before I hand it to you. Shut the fuck up, Woods. I've worked at big places. ESPN, a lot of shit at ESPN, you know, old days ESPN too, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN magazine was a heady place in a certain way, a lot of good quality fucking people. So I've done some things for good outlets and such, Ring and such, but you know, it ain't about the outlet. It ain't about the brand. It is too much of the time, but overall, it kind of isn't. It took me a while to get that, because I fell prey for it too. I fell prey for being a sucker for a brand.
Yeah.
I'm malleable. I'm not the brightest ever. Pretty smart, but not the brightest. I get yanked around and propagandized and marketed to and such. So, anyways, people might have even said a couple years ago. Maybe I would have said a couple years ago. Not out loud, but in my mind. There's outlets. You want to go on the ones where all the people are watching or all the eyeballs are or whatever. You want that attention.
Yeah.
You want those fucking numbers.
Yeah.
Right?
It's actually what people see your work. Exactly.
But you know what? Fuck, numbers, dude. Numbers ain't indicative. Numbers are indicative of some shit, right? It's fucking money is numbers, right? But that ain't what it's all about. The worth, the validity, where you come from, who you are. That's fucking important.
Sure.
So, thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you. And listen, you say New York Fights is like a WBA interim title, but I bet you differ. I think we have a solid footing when it comes to boxing reporting, boxing journalism. I think we're well respected. Among some of the other websites. We have a strong following. I'll tell you how I know this, because down here in the South, somewhere in Fayetteville, North Carolina, my wife was going grocery shopping at Walmart the other day, and she had her New York Fights shirt on, right? The one that you had on from the old school one with the black, right? And I got the text, so I'm going to send you the screenshot of the text. Yeah. I was at work, and my wife texted me. She was like, "Hey, New York Fights is kind of famous." This old lady came up to me. An old lady came up to her and said, "Oh, New York Fights, I love them."
Old lady, I'll take it. Old lady, young lady, any lady. I'll take it anywhere.
North, my brother.
Yeah.
In Fayetteville, a hole in the wall where boxing's not big down here.
Hey, no. That's crazy. That happens. That gives you, again, Jacob, it gives you that little glimmer, that little happy. You know what I'm saying? And Jacob, you and I have talked as real human beings over the years, right? Yeah. That's one thing about me, about New York Fights, about doing all this. If I'm going to be doing it, there has to be feeling behind it, caring behind it. And sometimes the sport, the makers, the promoters, the organizers, all of them, they make it hard to like the sport and respect the sport in a lot of ways. It's not been the best fucking era in the last 10 years or so. Mm-hmm. It's been an era of a lot of inactivity, a lot of talking, a lot of fixation on money, and getting the bag. You know where I'm going with this.
We've come to a point where if we say something, those of us that do this, we get ostracized, we get blacklisted, we get pushed.
It can that can be an element of it, but even more than that, see, what we're getting into here is almost like stages of grieving, the stages. And how long have you been covering the sport? And how long have I been covering the sport? And you come to places as a journalist, as a coverage person, as a reporter, as a media person, right? What you and we do. And you can battle cynicism. This is life. This is why younger people, kids in kindergarten, bouncing around, they don't know. They haven't been through it. They haven't seen it.
That's right.
Santa is still Santa, bro.
That's right.
And then as the decades pass, Santa is less Santa, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So within the sphere of doing what I do, what we do, covering the sport, decisions have to be made. Do I want to continue to do this? Journalism is shrinking to fucking minuscule.
Mm-hmm.
Circling the goddamn drain. Ain't no one wanting to spend no money on it.
Mm-hmm.
And boxing is a hard niche, a fine niche for the for, good select sort of semi-few. Vocationally, and that's what I'm sort of referring to right now. NY Fights is a brand, okay? Vocationally, hard choice to stay in.
Yeah.
Journalism
Yeah.
and boxing.
Yeah.
So my long-winded frickin' point here is that to stay in it, I don't know, I must like it or love it, and I'm used to it. Maybe there's some inertia. Maybe there's pride. Maybe there's ego. Yeah, there is. Been doing it a long time, so sweat equity or whatever the fuck. I know I have a lot of accumulated knowledge and have, and that's worth something. What that's worth in this day and age, it's sometimes hard to say. You have to convince people and help them understand. Too much of the shit is about math and numbers, and that's not what life is about. The nitty gritty, the down and dirty, the dealing with living every day. It's harder for some people than others, but overall, it can be fucking hard for a lot of freaking people who don't admit it because they don't want to be vulnerable like that.
That's right.
There's been a lot of testing in regards to that over the last 10 years as journalism has fucking swirled to shit, as boxing has become the narrow niche. So here we are. Here I am, surviving, if not thriving. Sometimes we're at the point I'd like to be, but what's your definition of thriving, Jacob? What's your definition of thriving? A definition for me is got relationships with people, pay a little money out freaking when I can, keep it all afloat myself. I live in a fucking New York City. I live in a stupid place to live if you don't have a lot of money.
That's right.
Maintain a residence separate from my ex and the kids. So you know what I'm saying. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, we've had some conversations about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And guess what? Join a big club, Mike. 75% of people living paycheck to paycheck, even people making $250,000 a year, 17% of them say that, you know what, I don't have enough week to week. It's hard out there. Anyways, still doing it. Part of me still digging it. And part of what I still dig and why I still do it is interacting with people like you, who are good people, first and foremost. No drama with you. We've had very little drama over the years at NY Fights. Sometimes it pops up, and I'm actually pretty good at dealing with it for a while. And then sometimes people explode a little bit and fucking, go
that's like any organization
or whatever.
Yeah,
that's cool. But I think by and large, people that I like to deal with and are going to see it all as, we're human beings first.
Yeah, that's what I like about
first. Don't just be about freaking numbers and shit.
That's right.
And here I'm tilting a little bit towards maybe too honest.
That's why I'm working
on my own website on NY Fights. We tilt hard a little bit towards SEO, giving the people what they want and shit. And you'll see a lot of UFC and a lot of wrestling and whatever. And I can't argue against numbers.
No, you can't.
But sometimes maybe you go and you do something else that isn't fixated on numbers that way.
Exactly. And that was the point I was about to allude to. Even though on New York Fights, we cater to what the combat sports fan likes or wants. And we put it all out there, like you just said, UFC, betting, MMA, and even sometimes in boxing, some of those little things that us hardcores may not want to cover, all right? But we know that it has a following, it has a drawing, like the Jake.
It's hard. You're hitting on it. Let's not dodge around it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I'm asking you guys now to say, hey, who wants to do a story on this? Because it indicates that Google might like to fucking read it.
Yeah, Misfits and
Jake Paul. I don't want to write it because I don't give a shit about it because I don't know who those freaking people are.
Nobody does.
No. Well, why aren't we actually doing more stories of like, this is who this person is? I semi-titled that one the other day. I'm like,
Yeah, you did.
here's what I wanted to title it. Who the fuck is Joe Goodall? And does he have a fucking chance to win? Right? That's what you want. We could do it. We could do it. We do that on here.
Yeah,
you know,
I saw
Google
that.
doesn't like the F-bombs as much, but we can.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Joe Good? That's a big problem, Jacob.
Yeah,
People not knowing who the fuck is fighting.
exactly.
I see posters from all these guys.
Exactly. But listen,
Gonzalez is fighting O'Connor. Who Gonzalez? What O'Connor? There's no actually O'Connor's fighting actually anymore.
yeah. But listen, with that being said, gimmicks aren't new to boxing. They've been around. You know, Muhammad Ali was certainly famous for getting in the ring with wrestlers and personalities as exhibition. Mayweather does it. But when we start to have it in our, I think the problem is when we start to have it in our mainstream kind of world and we're being force fed it. Like this Tyson Fury, Francis, his last name.
Pardon me. What you were saying is it was a side dish.
Yeah.
Now it's being fed your main entree.
Yeah.
If you don't like it,
and then
I don't know. There's plenty of other. That's the thing. If you don't like it, there's plenty of other stuff to find.
That's right. But
this goes back to what I was saying 8 minutes ago about picking and choosing your fights, what you get riled about, what you don't.
That's right.
As one gets older, there is a tendency to get for cynicism to accumulate.
That's right.
I don't know. I'm not a plumber, so I don't have a good. I don't have a good, but I know it's something. It's not good.
It's not.
It can be not good. You have to combat it.
Correct.
One of the ways I think I try to combat it is to try to retain more of a youthful, not cynical, open-minded to things. But then sometimes if you're being that way, you're just accepting shit.
Yeah.
And which is what you were talking about earlier, where if we pipe up about some certain stuff, we might get ostracized. Yeah, that's an element of it too.
Right.
Am I as honest as I want to be? Probably not. As it should be? Probably not. All that. And that accumulates within you as a journalist in doing your work.
Yeah.
What is the work I'm doing? What am I putting out?
That's right.
There's a story, there's a New York, I think it was a New York magazine. The kid who breaks all the NBA stories, not Woj, the other kid, the new kid. And I don't know his name. And it basically detailed his life and how crazy he is on all that. And I read it and I was like, I got decades on the kid, so I wasn't want to be like, oh, well, you'll look back and think you're an idiot for doing that. Because it's his freaking business. Who cares if he wants to do that? But the wider point is, let's take a step back and look at that and see what constitutes the bulk of the coverage of NBA shit among hardcores who eat that shit up. And it's just horse race. It's just like, oh, who's going to sign with who? And it's everyone playing general manager in their mind.
Yeah.
And what is absent there is a focus on learning about the people more.
Right.
And that's when you care about them a little bit more. And that's when you follow them more.
Correct.
But you have to get to the point where you know who the frick they are. And that don't happen very much in our sport.
And I think it's also not only is the gimmicks and the little, it's also a sign of the times. People don't want to be told the full truth, maybe half truths.
Yeah.
Like I had to do a reaction video to some of the fire that I received on Twitter yesterday for saying that Henry LeBron is not ready for a world title shot.
Good.
And
good that you did that.
And when
you have the courage, because you knew that there was going to be some blowback. You didn't know to the degree.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, was it worth it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's what I found. I probably more subconsciously than consciously have not gravitated to that sort of that world and that back and forth and that interaction and that sort of potentially confrontational stuff, which is very popular because it would drain my energy when I would
Yeah.
do it. You have to really do it with like taking a step back, not taking it too seriously,
Correct.
right? Because if I take it too seriously, and then I'm starting getting mad and I'm
Correct.
arguing with strangers and shit.
You got to
So
be.
this has been very hard for me to figure out, like, my role. What do I want my role in media to be? Because I'll be honest, I don't love the nature of the interactivity often is so negative.
Yeah, I try to when it comes to, I've only had it happen 3 times. I had it happen with the Edgar Berlanga bite. I had it happen when I wrote that article, Canelo not being a top 5 Mexican of all time. That pissed a lot of people off.
I like it when you do that, or I should like it more as like as an editor-in-chief, founder kind of type. But you know me, that's not what I do. I don't care about the stirring up the hits like that. But that's good, and actually, it's good when you do it and it's honest, and that's how you really feel.
Yeah, and it is well researched. You know, I'm not talking out my butt.
No.
When I saw the Henry LeBron fight yesterday,
yeah,
it was his first time. It's his second time fighting a 10-rounder in his 6-year career. It was his first time fighting a ranked fighter. He gave a average performance, a slightly above average performance, and Mark Kriegel said that the young man is ready for a world title shot or an eliminator, and that he's well tested. Come on, what are we doing here? I mean,
so
I don't know
what
Mark
happens
Kriegel.
now is
I don't know him intimately.
now we see. Let's see if he gets, does he get what he's wanting? Listen, those guys there's pretty much no one better at stepping people up and down.
I know, I got you.
Hey, wait. You are covering the hell out of this, and then we haven't had an update. Our pal Felix Verdejo.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, man.
Goodbye forever. Everyone, you knew that would be the case, but that doesn't make it any more like, oh shit.
No,
when the word comes down, prison, life. Now, there's no possibility they're going to try to execute him?
No. That was taken off the table.
Okay.
Early, when they started to prosecute this.
I'm not laughing here. I'm kind of laughing at the shittiness of the construct, but I was laughing to myself. I'm like, oh, that's how we could treat the story now to get some hits. Is execution on the table for Felix Verdejo?
Yeah. No, I mean, that was taken off early because they couldn't tie him to the actual murder himself. So in essence, he was a conspirator, so for capital murder, it didn't fit the bill. So they took that off the table. So he got charged with the kidnapping that led to the murder and all that other stuff. So he got 2 consecutive life sentences out of it.
Totaling how many how many years? 146 or something?
Yeah, something astronomical like that.
Once he's in,
that's no
get not out.
Now here's the other part of this is where is he gonna I'm curious to find out where is he gonna serve his time. It's
right.
If this is gonna be,
do you have insight into the penal system there? Do they have places that could be like, oh, he could go someplace where like Bernie Madoff would be chilling?
We'll see. I think this was tried federally, so I don't think he's going to do time in Puerto Rico. So I don't think he'll do time in one of those Puerto Rican prisons where they'll make mincemeat out of him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I got to.
Would that be the case, or would he not be revered as an icon there? No, he wouldn't, because
he
killed a lady with a baby.
Yeah,
he's dead meat, motherfucker.
Yeah, he's
not laughing, but yeah, man.
Yeah, no, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. Yeah. So,
I forgot it matters who you. Yeah, it matters.
Yeah. So speaking of all these like gimmicks and stuff, a week ago we had the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou fight, and it led to that talk. Almost immediately after the decision was made, it led to the talk that boxing was single-handedly destroyed in one night by Tyson Fury's performance. Do you feel that way? Do you feel that boxing took a hit? No. Tyson, not really.
I see. It's like, why even ask me that question? Because I've seen so many iterations of this over the years, or have I not? Was this so much different? No. Let me say, overall, I like to watch for the drama. I like to watch a fight. I like to be surprised,
Yeah.
enchanted, and enthralled, ideally. So much of the time that doesn't happen when I'm watching these matches. This situation at least provided me with a face during that, right?
Yeah.
When our guy got knocked down, and I'm watching it, and it was interesting. Bro, it did turn out to be interesting.
Yeah. But the drama,
So
the
was
drama,
it worth, was it worth the money? It was of things that I've bought and then
yeah.
screwed down the line. Yeah, it was worth the money. So did it wreck it? Didn't wreck it for me.
Well, Tyson Fury is the lineal champion. That is the champion of champions, aside from all the other belts. So had he lost, he essentially would have given a non-experienced boxer, an MMA guy, his first professional fight,
Yeah.
the lineal title.
Yeah.
Boxing's most coveted title.
Okay. If you really think about it and drill down and think about it that way, it can make you be like, yee. Yeah, like, well, this is why it was it that night or was it the next morning? I put out on Twitter, I'm like, yo, so give what's your assessment? Well, what's your assessment here on what happened? Because I got messed with because I was watching the ESPN feed and those guys did not choose to, in the moment or whatever, delve into this more than Nagano looking so great. There's an indication here that Fury didn't take this seriously. There wasn't almost any of that.
Yeah.
And it's like I had to get myself out of the mode of I thought about that quite a bit in the days after. I'm like, yeah, they dropped the ball a little bit there because as a broadcaster and as an analyst and all that, well, what's your number one job? Well, to inform the watchers, right?
Right.
Or is that not actually the case?
Yeah.
The actual case is you are performing for a broadcast entity. Sometimes entities have biases that they would like to adhere to, etc. So you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Joe Tessitore is a performer.
Yeah.
He's not a journalist first. He wouldn't tell you he's a journalist first. So his interpretation might be right. You get what I'm trying to say.
And that's sort of,
but that is what happened while I was watching that. And I wasn't aware of it at the time. And I needed some hours to pass to peruse in my head and be like, whoa, wait a second. Two sides to every story here. Oh, I think this is a pretty harsh indictment on Fury.
Yeah.
Or hubris. Which a lot of us didn't delve into very much because of what you said. Correct. There is a fear that you're going to get harsh blowback if you come out with too much of the truth. Right?
And at the same time, while that fiasco's happening, while the lineal title could potentially be lost to a guy, his first professional boxing match, you got O'Shaquie Foster fighting his life. What's happening? We got boxing and a fiasco, and the fiasco is taking more precedence than a guy. It was probably one of the best 11 rounds, single rounds in boxing.
Yeah, you told me that. Woods, watch that 11th round. It's one of the best.
One of the best.
Seen.
And this is for guys like you and I that you know, I like to call ourselves hardcore boxing fanatics. Yeah. Look, you're a boxing fan or you're not. That I get acid in my stomach. It builds up. It hurts, man, you know?
All right. So what I'm hearing is you're caring a little bit too much.
No, I love boxing, man.
I know. And that's right. You shouldn't. No one should tell anyone else that they're caring too much about something. But I can't help it. Right? You'll see. How old are you?
I have just turned 46, man.
All right. Youthful face, so you could be
You're
You
too
could
kind.
no, you could be younger and you got a lighthearted spirit, so you could be younger. But I'm gonna say in 10 years and whatever, there's something around the age you're at into the next few years. Many of us start to see things more in terms of differences in generations. Stuff accumulates and builds over time. The cynicism, the what the fuck did I just say? Why was this? It goes up and it's down. And so what we choose, what you choose to focus on, and if something is fucking with you, right, you want to look at that harder because who wants to be fucked with, right? I would say something like that I figured out a while ago, and sometimes I'll tell people, on Twitter, X, or whatever, say if you actually just looking for the dramatics of the fights and the back and forth and the 50-50, you're much more likely to get that, on a fucking nondescript card that's under the radar, that's DAZN, that's from Golden Boy, you know what I'm saying? Rather than the big splashy hype ones. And
but it was, but was he?
Yeah.
It wasn't always like that. You got the circuses that are going on with all these celebrity boxing, the Misfits, and all this stuff, the KSIs, the Jake Pauls of the world. Then we got another juggernaut who lost its place in boxing. Showtime's no longer covering, along with HBO. Oscar De La Hoya is trying to circle the promoters around to kind of rally, get these fights made. How do we get back? How does boxing get back, in your opinion, to the yesteryears, the days of old, those 80s, those 70s, those 90s? How do we get back to? Or is this like a life thing? Will it eventually fix itself?
Rick, it's a hard question, and my silence indicates some of my answer, which is fuck, I don't know. Boxing seems like every other year actually is in a transition phase.
That's right.
One means or another. So we really were impacted by the cord cutting shift. Cord cutting shift affected boxing more than any other big sport.
Yeah.
Just as a big sport.
You're right.
Why? Because the purveyors of platforms were the two large multi-tiered cable companies aimed at the masses and programming for the masses. And there was a decision as executives conglomerated and accumulated and purchased each other's companies and what have you, that we just got to get more eyeballs.
That's it.
And the ceiling of eyeballs with boxing, fucking limited, bro.
No, and I'm with you because there are good fights happening. There are fighters that put it on the line.
Yeah,
not all, but some. Let's take Oshaki Foster, for example, world champion who goes to the challenger's hometown in Mexico to fight, to defend his. That's unheard of.
Yeah,
and then fights the round of his life to put this guy out. That's happening, but we just need eyes to get to that. We need the eyes to see that. But with all the bitching that I've been doing over the last 25 minutes, 2023 hasn't been a bad year for boxing.
No, they actually, and that's like the biggest point of irony, shitty irony for the Showtime crew.
Yeah.
Steven Espinosa is like, no, we actually, Gervonta did take the fight that you guys wanted him to take. Hello. Are we not still huffing some positive fumes from Terrence Crawford?
Yeah.
And Errol Spence getting made?
Yeah.
Our memories tend to
we got
quick on. So they were getting plenty, a lot of more of those fights that was the frustration point for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
It was freaking, at times it was shitty hard to be a fight fan during the peak Cold War years of Side of the Streets of 2018, 2019. And then more stupidity, some of it blamed on COVID, but some of it not. Mm-hmm. It's been frustrating as hell at times to be a fan of the sport over 10 years. But I could probably argue that, 10 years ago, I could have said the same thing of the 10 years prior and what have you. there's just always variations on themes of change and transition. But this is a pretty freaking heavy duty one because it's gotten worse in the last X number of years. Not all the sports can and would have that said about them. How do we respond? I don't know. Would Top Rank and would Bob Arum say that, oh, we need to do this,
God,
get the promoters together on this roundtable that Oscar has called for? I don't know. Not so much. He's doing really well, relationship with ESPN and such. Even that's hard and deserves to be examined and puzzled out. Sometimes I was watching some of it yesterday, and it's occurred to me like, damn, this is a well-oiled machine. You know how the company runs it, and its smoothness and everything.
Nice little car they put on yesterday.
Yeah, but in this day and age, a nicely oiled machine often doesn't get right.
Yeah,
People like to see crazy, right? They don't like well-oiled machine. You get what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying. Well, that being
It's
said,
hard. It's always going to be hard.
what was your favorite?
Hard freaking business. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard business all around to succeed in all around. Yeah.
What was your favorite moment of 2023 in boxing?
Hard question for a person who still has cranial gaps from smoking too much weed back then.
This year. 2020.
Bro,
A lot happened.
memory questions are dicier to ask the older you get, young man. Favorite moment, and also, furthermore, hard to answer for a cynic. Hard to answer for a New Yorker who's juggling kind of two rents, kind of shit. Favorite moment. See, I'm probably usually going to pick something sort of not obvious.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna tiptoe here a little bit. I'm gonna tap dance and say, all right, you first. What's your favorite? And see if it jogs me.
No, I my favorite moment of 2023, aside from the Shockey Foster 11th round fight, which I live for, I did that Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight had to be my favorite moment, and not because two juggernauts were in the ring. It was just the way the fight played out. None of us expected that blowout.
Yeah.
None of us expect. I picked Terrence Crawford to win, and I picked him to win by
right. So that's why
that
was worth my freaking money, because it was the unexpected happened. I referenced that with the Tyson Fury and Nagano, same thing.
Yeah.
When it's unexpected, we like it because so much of the time we're in lockstep with what's going to happen or what we think's going to happen. And then, oh, shoot. And so much of the time it does go that way because we're pretty freaking smart and we interpret well before. But, sometimes, see, and that's why it whetted our appetite, didn't it? Ryan Garcia found out how good he really is.
That's another thing. Yeah.
Errol Spence found out how good he really is.
That's right.
What's the commonality there? It's what we first went back to before. The truth.
Truth.
They learned the truth. Yeah, it's happening. Those fights are getting made. People are being tested. And I can't bitch too much. So a lot of that did happen this year. Let's get more of that. I think that mode is in the air. We have seen in 2023 some shifting, positive shifting in people steering towards the truth.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia steered towards the truth. Terrence Crawford demanded that people steer towards right. So more of that. Please.
And what people don't know about you is you got your pause and you're in the end. I like to say Woodsie's in the streets. Have you heard any grumblings of where PPC may land?
Oh, see, those guys are tough sons of guns. It's only the real.
Listen, right?
None of them want to be. Those people don't like to talk to journalists. Yeah. See, that's the thing. And in the streets, somewhat. I am what I am. I'm, even if I like someone, get along, friends, whatever. I'm still media. I'm still press. I'm still I'm in a business where they would prefer I know less rather than more. So
Yeah, but
it's not a lot of great leaks coming out with PBC. No one better at keeping things quiet really than Al Heyman that I've seen in this sport in forever.
have you ever interacted with Al Heyman?
Yeah. Mayweather, De La Hoya,
Okay. Yeah,
press
because
conference in
the only few people
NYC.
that I know that got a Rolodex in your phone of promoters and fighters, you're able to text a fighter at 2 a.m, they'll answer.
I had Al's number. I went up to him. I was it. See, this is another thing. Brand is good. Brand opens doors. ESPN magazine at the time.
Mhm.
I pitched, themes within issues was coming up. The power brokers that you don't know. Well, Inside Boxing in 2007. I pitched Al Heyman. Right? Wait, was it Mayweather? De La Hoya was 2007, right?
Yeah, right around that time.
Yeah. And I walked up to him. I knew what he looked like somehow. I walked up to him at the New York press conference and said, "Hey, Mike Woods, blah, blah, blah. Nice to meet you." I said, doing this theme at ESPN magazine, people who are much more powerful than everyone knows within this sport. Would you talk to us for that? He said yes, I think. Gave me his number. And then there was no follow-up really because boxing didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
People were like, who? It wasn't compelling enough at the time.
Yeah.
They could be compelled to a degree by Mayweather and Oscar fight, but that would be enough boxing, Woodsy. So didn't get beyond that, but probably still have the number. Maybe it still works.
Maybe.
I probably did call it. I did call it. I'm sure I called it. I don't know.
What can boxing give you in 2024 that it didn't give you in 2023?
Well, it's not going to be perfection.
No, it's not.
I can't even promise that it's going to be progress. I ain't going to lie. Well, don't lie. Put a false positive spin on it.
That's right.
Put a reality spin on it. Reality is we are in transition right now.
Mm-hmm.
The main United States platform crew of the last X number of years is not operating now. There is huge hole to fill. People aren't even understanding that. They've gotten so used to seeing it as it's been. When HBO left, there's still Showtime was shifting, right? Both gone. Huge hole. So here, what are we gonna get? It's gonna be interesting. Which is why I stick this stupid fucking sport.
It's a love-hate relationship. I tell you, easy.
Marriage.
Yeah, you're a Massachusetts native, Irish, who lives for the better part of his adult life in New York. The Pedro Pinata.
The good parts. I don't drink. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Ooh.
German, Irish, Boston, Brooklyn knucklehead.
Who has covered the sport at its highest level, who's been around. Why New York? You could be anywhere.
Because I was with a girl who was in Boston and said, I am moving to New York. And being younger.
Isn't that the case?
And more open-minded at the time, all right, to an adventure. New York. Always kind of fucking hated you. I've been encouraged to hate you from these sports teams. But it's 1999. Let's give it a shot. Move to New York.
New York was a happening place in the 90s, though.
Oh,
It was
No,
great.
I have no regrets.
Yeah,
Bro, I consider myself a New Yorker.
yeah,
I really do like the melting pot.
yeah. No, it's a lot of that there. Yeah,
Immigrants,
that's it, man. Yes.
immigrants are the best humble fucking people, hardest working people.
Yeah.
Immigrants are, motherfucker. Yeah, all the people bitching. Yeah, well, listen, don't. I'm not going there. All the fighting and all the close the borders and all the fighting and all this stuff. Not going to diminish it at all, but no, on the positive side, that's
Yeah,
the best thing about New York to me.
yeah. What's of all the years, what's Woodsy's craziest boxing story that maybe you haven't shared, or maybe you have that the viewers haven't heard from you?
Ooh, trying to think. I'm trying to think of now. I'm trying to think of dirt
Yeah, yeah,
behind the scenes.
yeah. That's why.
Oh. Well, no, I've told this one before, ish. I don't know. Probably not too publicly. That's the fun thing about under the radar video cast sometimes, right? You know, you can slide in. You're smart, you MFer. Uh, okay. So I was friendly enough with Andre Ward that I would text him
Yeah,
back, and you know me, I'm a little bit, I sort of text how I talk
yeah,
and how I write, and whatever. I do use foul language sometimes,
yeah.
whatever. And I don't know what it was. I don't know the context. It wasn't pervy or porny, but it was something like, I don't know. I somehow made some remark about a woman's bosoms to Ward. He didn't care for it. It was like ding, 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 bad words, bad. And like he really like stiffened up and was like, I'm like, yeah, I wasn't talking about, your wife's boobs. I don't even know what the fuck it was. But he just went from into like son of God territory and like excommunicated me real quick for like talking about boobs. So for me, and going back to like handling truth, I was like, really? Does that rile you that much that you really get that persnickety and whatever over it? So honestly, ever since then, I've been like, so when our guy comes out with, documentaries and books and all whatever, part of me is like, I don't know. I don't know that I want to read it because I
Yeah.
don't know what level of truth I'd be getting from it,
Mhm.
honestly. And also, while we're here, the cynic in me, just the guy that's been around some decades and just seeing human beings and how they work and how they operate and this is whatever, sometimes good idea to be a little bit wary of
Yeah,
people who present themselves as the answer and whatever, which is the direction he's moving into as sort of a lifestyle coach and such.
yeah,
It's a cynical take, you could argue. Woods, that's a cynical take. And maybe it's been influenced by like things I've heard
yeah,
of his own imperfections that are secondhand, that are hearsay,
yeah,
might not be righteous for me to apply what I've heard in this
yeah,
direction. But be wary of those presenting themselves as somewhat saintly and what have you, is all I'm going to say.
yeah,
Is
not,
what has come to mind regarding that
yeah,
fella. And it probably started when, back 2006 or so, he's on the scene rising up. And I'm like, the nickname is Son of God. And that's setting yourself apart as something like special. And then I was like, what's up with that? And he's like, no, we're all sons of God, I think. But but I'm not presenting myself as. So anyway,
That I
it was interesting. It was his case, his situation, his life, his arc has been interesting to me, Jacob. I will say.
yeah. Coming up around the corner. What do you make of Jamel Herring's comeback? You know, you like Jamel Herring?
Jamel Herring is. Here's another one, another certainty unfolding over the years, the transition of me while I'm watching the same thing. When I was 25, I would have opined that a 35-year-old on a slide should retire, get out, blah, blah, blah. The older I've gotten, the far less likely I am to tell anyone to retire.
That's right.
Not my freaking business. Your life to lead. Jamel, your life to lead. Anyone say, oh, yeah, why are you coming back? Well, because what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep on testing myself until it's proven conclusively that it's not there for me anymore. Yeah. That is what boxers do. The top level ones, 90% of them are going to go out like that.
Yeah.
So I don't discourage it at all. I say, God bless you. It's human nature to want to keep on testing yourself. And he has proven himself to be just a solid citizen within the sport, inside and outside the sport, easy to root for.
Yeah.
For a journalist, always, responsive and what have you. So I'm not even gonna lie. Here's truth. He's like a favorite to the website.
Yeah.
Because he's a good freaking person. He's represented himself to us and to the sport really well. So
yeah. And for a 35-year-old, I mean, he's maintains himself really, really well. So I mean, I feel like that guy eats rocks for breakfast because he's shredded. So gosh, geez.
Whatever rocks he eat, give me some of them. All right, a half portion. But no, double portion. Whatever he's eating, give me a double portion. So yeah, no, he's ripped and ready. But he knows this. He knows this. He's 37. He can look great on outside and what have you. But that might not necessarily translate on fight night to having the energy and all that. So jury's gonna be out for him too. He's an eyes wide open kind of person. Mm-hmm. Hello, done tours, done right, done things, makes you more prone to be introspective and pondering and right, which all of us, some of us in this day and age, since we don't do physical jobs, a lot of us probably have too much time on our hands to ponder and overthink things.
That's right.
But PTSD that he's dealt with and talked about.
Yeah.
That's going to pop up, and it can pop up anywhere while you're digging ditch or while you're doing whatever, right?
Right. That's right.
Maybe it can pop up when you go home and you sit down on that sofa and you take that deep breath and.
Yeah, those of us that have served in combat and have dealt with traumatic situations, you never know when that'll pop up, So. And it's a reality for veterans, like myself, that coming up on Veterans Day weekend here.
That's right.
That's a true reality for a lot of us,
Right. And while I think it's gotten better, the encouragement of people to share their feelings and talk, no doubt. I think I think I would attribute part of that to sort of if I had to pick a person to sort of symbolize it, Oprah revolution of Oprahfication of right, because. It got more popular because she put it on TV more, not just her, but and then Dr. Phil and wait, people actually do want to talk about feelings and
I think
emotions and all that kind of thing. So it's gotten easier and more prevalent. Easier? No, not easy for the person who's dealing with it and fucking trying to lay the shit out.
No, not at all. I know exactly where you're going with this, and I think, like you said, age, wisdom, living in this earth, going through things, surviving it, overcoming it, like yourself, like me, when you get to a certain age, you tend to understand, you tend not to judge so quickly, you tend to, in my small experiences that I've had with you, our small conversations, you always take a step back and you look that everything is not so black
Jacob,
and
I
white.
will say, I believe there is space in this space for more of a channel or more content marrying the two.
Yeah.
The sport, and pick any sport, you're fucking an expert in a lot of them, bro.
Yeah.
And then mental health, there's an intercession and interweaving because we're fucking human beings. All of us, I'm gonna dare say, all of us, even the douchebags, are doing the best they can at any given
As
time.
you bring that up, and as you said that as the time goes on and people get more educated, it's easier for them to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's fighters in interviews like Danny Garcia, Teofimo Lopez admit their dark times, admit you've been you handled that Teofimo Lopez thing better than anybody did, when you talk to him about it. You empathize.
No, hey bro, it's taking that step back from things, right? Not especially when things are fucking getting at us and we're reacting to, whoa, what's that? Why, people really like to shit on fucking Teofimo for crazy shit that he posts on there. I don't know, man. There, but for the grace of God, go I. And also, I don't want to condescend to the kid because he's like one of the best prize fighters in the world too. Yeah. Bro, this is an interesting sport with interesting people in there.
So 8 weeks.
That's why I'm still here. Teofimo is why I'm still here too.
That's right. So we're gonna wrap this up here in the next few minutes. 8 weeks left to the calendar year. What's he excited about? What takes you out? What takes you out to 2024?
That's a hard one. That's a hard one because reality here. Big transition stage in boxing. It's how these what's the phrase? The other shoe, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Few shoes going to be dropping here, bro. None bigger than what is the PBC crew
gonna do? Where
are those talents going to be working? And then it's crucial from there. We need what you referred to about Oscar making that call, people working together, giving Oscar some props here, because he will put in his guys in 50-50 fights more than any of the other promoters. Even though, yes, he still does shield the Munguias and shit. We get it. He does it too. But the less we get of shielding and the more we get of truth finding.
That's right.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Whenever and wherever we can get that, I'm going to be, encouraging that, wishing it well, trying not to be too cynical, trying to find the good parts in the sport. And oftentimes I find it in the lower level stuff, in the club fights and in the less heralded fights and such. You do the same. And you're going to be making an impact as you do that. I think you've realized in the last few years the impact that you make with some of them things that you don't even see. And this happens to me too, especially talking about, hey, the PTSD and that shit and being vulnerable. That helps people a lot.
Yeah.
So you keep doing what you're doing. You are an absolute pleasure to deal with. Again, I come back to it. No drama, professional, knowledgeable, just really polite and respectful. You're one of the guys, along with Abe, that's now has me being like the most pro-military as far as hiring practices that I could be. I was more than a small businessman. I truly would make it. I understand and appreciate you guys and the toughness, the diligence, the character that is present in so many of y'all. And I understand that's not for no reason. It's because of what you've gone through. And I appreciate it. And that's hey, bro, that's a larger and larger part and parcel of who I am and how I'm trying to be on this earth is fucking positivity and something like that. That I can't. No one can be like, oh, Woodsy, that's political, whatever. No, that's me. Something I figured out. I'm pretty secure in my knowledge and
of course.
that. And so I'm gonna say that because it's an underserved population at times, under-respected because of propaganda on both sides, and just people don't like war, they don't like dying, and all that shit that they see, so they associate it. But getting down deeper and talking to people as human beings and removing some of the smoke and mirrors and drama and whatever, his story is different. It's somewhere in the middle there, and that's where we are, Jacob.
Yeah. No, I said when I had my troops, when I had my soldiers, and even now I'm a military contractor and I teach young soldiers still. I always tell them, my approach to everything I did in the Army, and my approach to everything I do in life, even when I do my writing and when I do my podcasting, is there is no second place on the battlefield. When soldiers go fight, there's no second place, there's no rematches, there's nothing. If we lose, we lose. So that's it,
Yep.
So we
no greater stakes.
Yeah, we train hard.
No greater stakes.
Yeah, we approach it.
You were in the arena where the stakes were no greater stakes, motherfucker.
You have to win. You have to perform. So that's my approach to everything. It's with a winning mentality. That's what I try to do. And as I close out, I just want to take the time to officially thank you for allowing me to be part of the crew of New York Fights. You gave me my start. You didn't know me from a hole in the wall. You took Abe's recommendation, and you gave me a chance, and you allowed me to flourish, and you gave me a platform to express myself and to grow, initially with very little guidance, to see where I was going to go. And then when you saw that I was dedicated, the most valuable thing that you've given me is your time and your mind, and I thank you for that.
And there, you don't see it. A little moisture in there. You got me, brother, but not all the way. I'm not going to cry all the way. I'm not lamp-lit.
Those are not tears. That's your awesome leaking out.
All right. No, that's my gratitude. It's my great gratitude is what that is. Hearing that, and the older I get, have been, I think, successful in understanding more the import of that and the value of that.
Yeah.
And we spread the word on that, bro, because guess what? All of us can do that.
That's right.
Not all of us are going to get rich, bro. It's just not how it's fucking made in this society.
No.
So, till that happens, we're going to plug along and provide value. I'm going to try to provide value where I can in a decent manner, and you help that. You do, bro. I learned from you too. This is our, that's apparent. I'm not trying to be oblique about that. I learned from you, probably about as much as you learned from me. But anyways, that's it. We've blown enough smoke on each other.
That's right, man. All right, Fight Fans, where do you have it? The legendary
virtual hug, bro.
Virtual hugs. The legendary.
Especially you got that nice shirt on.
Hey,
hold
man.
on. Where's my Yankee cap?
Where I go. I represent New York Fights. Hey, the all black. The all black.
Oh, respect for. I come from Massachusetts, and we were taught and born to hate New York and all that shit. And guess what? Y'all are human beings, and some of the best human beings I know. So
that's right.
That's it. That's the fucking bottom line. We are human beings, and it's your good one, and I appreciate knowing you, and I appreciate you having me on. And you're right, giving time and being present. Let me, if you want to have me back again, please.
Of course.
The ratings don't fucking tank.
No.
Let me do this again at some point.
We will. Thanks, Woodsy. Have a good one.
You're the best. Peace, man.
Peace.
No Standing 8 Boxing Podcast. We discuss every organization and weight class with your host